No noisy fidgeting.
Alrighty, we're live.
Live.
Brain hurt.
Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. There's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
The Dorkening and all affiliated shows are not intended for anyone under the age of 18. The following may contain discussions or scenes that have adult situations, graphic violence, nudity, strong sexual content, and graphic language. This show is intended for mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello, greetings and salutations, everyone. I'm your Uncle Necro, and I'm welcoming you back to the Tomb of the Terrible. And normally, we once in a while we have to have a discussion to figure out whether a movie we watched truly is terrible or is just Italian. And tonight is one of those movies. We have watched Cemetery Man, but we are going to introduce the usual gaggle of freaks that join us here.
Hey, Tom Dog.
Hey, Tom.
Hi, Tom.
So we're going to start with Dell.
Hey, everybody. Got me Ratatosker here. Nobody can ever pronounce his name right, but he's drinking again. I'm drinking tonight. Just got done seeing this movie, and I'm in the I'm in the confused section of whether this was a bad movie or whether it was just really absurdist and maybe misunderstood. I don't know. It was. I will say that I enjoyed it, but we'll get more into that later. Anyway, yeah, I'm just having a day, so let's go on to Pile.
Yeah, Pile.
Hi, everybody. I'm glad I watched the movie, just really confused. But apparently we're going to get into that, and someone's got it all figured out. So me and the toilet paper is watching.
Okay. Friday. Chaos.
Hi, Kilala, and I have joined you with a movie I have picked. And I don't think it's as bad as I was told when I was younger. So, yeah, either way. She's invisible.
Getting eaten by the cemetery, man.
All I see is the eyes.
And Ron.
Just like everybody else, I would say that I'm confused as well, but I'm thinking that might actually be one of the points of the movie. I do not think that it was nearly as bad as some of the movies that we have watched on here. I don't have the rant for it like I do, or like I did with Mandy. So I'm going to chalk this one up as significantly better.
Yeah. I had to drop out of that one, but I heard that Mandy is now your favorite movie, Ron.
No, I would have to say after the interview with Bernie Rao that Killer Sofa has jumped to the top of the list.
Awesome.
Number two. That interview with Bernie made a huge difference, and just, I don't know. Now I have a new fondness for that movie.
There you go.
So tonight's movie was, as I mentioned, Cemetery Man. That was the title that was given for the American release. It was originally released in 1994 in Italy, but finally came to our fine country here in 1996. Stars Rupert Everett as the titular cemetery man. who has to gun down the reanimated dead that comes after him in a cemetery just to contain everything. But there's more to that story than just that. Believe me, this is not just another Italian rehash of Night of the Living Dead. Oh no, this has so many layers. Not so much like a layer cake, more like, let's just say, an English parfait that mixed in a shepherd's pie in with pudding and all that fun stuff.
Shepherd's pudding.
So, some interesting facts that I did come across. Rupert Everett was the actor who was basically the physical example of the comic book Dylan Dog was based on. The physical, and so as a joke, the makers of the movie dressed Rupert Everett up as the Dylan Dog character. So that was wacky.
Dylan Dog had his own movie.
Yeah, but that was later. The comic came way earlier.
Having just read Batman Dylan Dog issue 2, I can see that.
Yeah. So let's get some impressions here. So starting with Del, what did you think?
Well, do we want to give a brief synopsis of man is fighting off things that keep coming? He has a poor guy that doesn't show his intelligence, a kind of a lump living down in the basement, and this thing that helps him to bury it's Nagi. And Nagi doesn't really speak much. He throws up on people and drools a lot, and kind of makes grunts and things like that.
Well,
he does play a mean toggle harp, though.
To be fair, he only throws up on you if he thinks you're pretty.
Yes, this is true.
Yeah.
So he's kind of the Igor character.
Yeah.
You know.
And these people keep coming up from the dead, and he has to, usually within 7 days, kill them. But there's a girl who he falls in love with over and over and over, who keeps re-encountering the same person, but as well, the same actress as different people, but he keeps falling in love with them. They're supposed to kind of be like different, I think they're supposed to be different reincarnations of her. I'm not positive on that, or else it's explaining, because they're always looking at trying to get out in the world and what's out in the real world, and who knows what there is. Maybe there is nothing, and so maybe she just keeps getting remade because there's only so much world that exists.
She always seems to know who he is, regardless of the incarnation that she's in.
Yes. She somehow has a connection to him. But he first pisses her off because he's like glad that her husband's been dead long enough that he shouldn't be rising again, and that kind of isn't what you say to somebody who's mourning their husband. But no, I thought it had some really hysterical moments, and like I didn't take it entirely seriously, but like I said, it was really absurdist. There's, people coming from the dead and shooting all the time, and people not believing him, and people come to investigate, and there's also something to do with the entire town thinks he's not just impotent, but missing the parts. And they keep, don't make me say it, and referring to this. And then you find out, oh no, he has the parts. And there's just some really weird reasoning behind that, but we'll get into that more. But yeah, I was stunned watching this film. I did enjoy it. And like I said, I got totally cracked up at some moments. And one of those involves the judging horse.
Yes.
But we'll get into that as we describe more. So moving on, Pyle, what were your initial overall impressions?
So I've actually watched this twice today. And that's why I'm so like head scratching, because there's got to be something. No, it didn't. Because I tried doing something called logic.
Oh, okay.
And this is not a logic movie. A motorcycle does not get buried with you. You do not get put in a glass coffin. There.
No, here in Texas, you can bury your truck with you if you want. Please continue.
Okay. You can, but it's not a normal practice.
No, it's not normal, but we've seen it done.
It just, to me, there was just so much. Even the Cub Scouts marching and having their song about how they should have just stayed home and not went on the trip, and Dell's got the whole jingle down.
Yes, there is a scene where some motorcycle riders are racing and they run into a Boy Scout bus that is on its way to a picnic, and that is where Judging Horse comes in, because you see this huge pile up and this horse just kind of looks. But
You started a little bit.
As they're laying everyone to rest, they do a mass funeral. So there's like the biker on his bike being buried, the mayor's daughter in a glass coffin, and then all the Boy Scout troopers, and the Boy Scout troops are singing a more lively dirge than normal, and it's never should have gone out on the Boy Scout picnic, never should have left my room, never should have gone out on the Boy Scout picnic, now I'll do my scouting in a marble tomb, and kind of repeats on there. So
oh my god,
I found my wedding song. Pyle, Pyle, is this your first time with an Italian horror movie?
I guess.
Okay. Stay away from Falchi, especially the stuff from the 70s and early 80s.
You know, the Pastor Raptor. That was interesting.
You don't understand.
Pastor Raptor. That was interesting. Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy.
That was interesting. That wasn't Italian, though. However, if you're a fan of what you would call linear storytelling, or as Pyle mentioned, logic in the way things go, this will make your head explode. So,
I cannot claim to have much familiarity with the Italian horror movies either.
Well, a lot of them, especially like the giallo type, it's an entire subgenre of the horror genre that the Italians have really embraced. Giallo goes more for style over substance, where it's really beautifully shot. They use a lot of colors as far as symbolism, and the story itself is just wackadoo. You know, I mean, if you want an example of this, Cemetery Man is a perfect example. This was made in the 90s, however, so it looks way better than a lot of the stuff that I saw from like the 70s or early to mid 80s.
When you were speaking of the color thing, and I'm sorry I'm interrupting, and then I'll back completely off. One of the first things I noticed was the will-o'-the-wisps that they had going through, or they call them something Italian, and
those are completely random. They only show up once in the movie, and then that's it.
But they're pretty cool. The Ignis Fautus, which is basically a will-o'-the-wisp, but they were really pretty. So anyway,
let's go to
blows one out.
Let's go to Friday in Chaos. Get their impressions.
Oddly enough, this was a really good movie, even despite how confusing it was at a lot of times. I still gotta say it's got some of the best depictions of death in even higher budget movies than even higher budget movies have.
Okay.
Especially the one at the fire, when he's doing the fire and just.
Oh, you mean Death the Entity?
Yes.
Okay. I wasn't sure if you just meant death in general.
No, I mean actual Reaper depictions of the Reaper in most movies.
I agree
So-
with you there.
I
Friday.
enjoyed it. I generally like zombie movies, and I don't. It's very few and far between that I can find a decent zombie romance movie in any aspect. And then this one had the weirdest way of having it. The randomnicity of different herds just showing up. So yeah,
There's a keyword right there, random.
Randomnicity. There. That's your word for the day. Randomnicity.
Yeah. Let's move on to Ron.
Ron, what did you think?
This movie reminds me of the play Waiting for Godot, if anybody's familiar with it. It's an Irish play by Samuel Beckett, and it has two characters that they go into a lot of existential conversations while they're waiting for the character Godot, who never shows up. So the whole movie is basically about the whole existentialism, or the play, not this movie, but the play Waiting for Godot. It's basically about existentialism and the meaning of life and so on and so forth. So I feel like that's kind of the thing with this movie. It's very existential because it's so discombobulated in a way where you don't really know what's going on, that you could literally make whatever meaning out of it you want. I feel like there's a caveat with that, though, where a lot of people will make movies like this that defy logic, but there's some sort of underlying theme which holds it together, and they'll call it like high art or intellectual, thinker movie. But this one, I feel like it misses the mark because there's not really an underlying theme that I can come up with that would tie all of this together for me to go, wow, that's cerebral. I don't get it, because it jumps all over the place. I feel like this is me writing a book, not knowing how to get from the beginning to the middle to the end, going, okay, let's try this, let's try this, let's try this, and throwing a whole bunch of ideas out there, and somehow we get to an end, and you read back through it, and you're like, this sucks. This is my first draft. I need to go back through and edit this and rewrite it until I come up with something that actually makes sense. That's what I feel like this movie is. It's the first draft of a story where they threw a bunch of ideas together, and then they just never did anything with it.
Okay, so
But that's not to say that I think the movie sucks, because it doesn't. I actually quite enjoyed it. I thought it was a pretty decent movie because they did a really good job with the depictions of the living dead, and like Chaos said, with the depiction of death. There were some really good one-liners and just some completely random things that, you kind of sort of laugh, even though it's very dark comedy that you really shouldn't be laughing at it, but you can't help it anyway, like being buried with the motorcycle. And the one question that nobody's asking, will glass coffins catch on, remains to be seen.
That's
No.
funny.
We
Well,
have
funny.
seen them before.
I caught you. That's good.
So my take is, well, first of all, I agree with Ron. This movie really needed something like that speech at the beginning of the movie Rubber, just to say,
Yes.
film's not going to make sense.
Yes.
Here's the movie. So, but
And
this, there were several times while watching this movie this morning that I was thinking, why is this considered terrible? It's not terrible. It's offbeat. It's weird. It doesn't really make sense, the narrative part of things. And as time went on, it just got weirder and even more. I hasten to use the word convoluted, but that's kind of what it turned out to be. I would say this is kind of a mixture of, say, the predecessor to American Psycho, and also, I don't want to say the Truman Show, but maybe the ending part of Dark City,
Ooh, yeah.
kind of.
Yeah, Dark City had a great ending.
Yeah, but the cinematography on this is fantastic. The makeup effects on the zombies were great. The way it opened up, where he's just on the phone talking with his buddy and shoots a zombie, it comes in and like it was nothing. You know, just okay. Well, we got a good introduction to the guy here. He has a kind of an Igor slash, Tor from the Plan 9 from outer space. Kind of.
Who's actually really intelligent, but
Yeah.
hides it from everyone.
Yeah, the actor it was a very accomplished musician. He died in 2023.
Oh,
But
that's a shame.
yeah, I
He
saw a
really
video.
did play a good toggle harp.
Oh yeah, that, and I saw a video of him playing a hurdy-gurdy, which movies
Those are
need more
hard.
hurdy-gurdies. So
That's a very weirdly named but very difficult instrument.
yes, it is. But onto the movie. Yeah, it's the first time that he encounters the mourning widow, the one that the actress that plays
Yeah.
multiple. Yeah, it turns out she has a very specific kink that at first she's repulsed by him, but then he shows her the place where they store the bones, and then she's just she's ready to go right there. But then they kind of do it on her dead husband's grave, which gets a rise out of him.
Literally.
You know how long I was waiting to use that?
Bravo.
Thank you. I'll be here till Thursday. Tip your wait staff. But it's there's a lot to unpack on this movie, because apparently you kind of wonder, is especially the mayor, who was essentially, this was his election cycle. He was really worried about getting reelected. But if he knew about the dead, or did he know about the dead rising, or just kept it quiet, I don't really know.
I think
Why
he
would
ignored
you?
it.
Why would you pull off of your voters and say, you know what? Let's dig up my daughter and show how much I'm grieving over that. And then as soon as they go and the child's head is missing, he's like, oh, it really didn't faze him until she started talking. And then he's like, wait, hold on.
No, the comment of we should shoot from the neck down.
Francesco does keep trying to get the mayor's attention to say, I really need to talk to you about the cemetery, but that talk never happens. So I'm assuming that the mayor does not know what is actually going on in the cemetery. On the flip side, the mayor could actually know what's happening in the cemetery, because he may be the one that actually hired Francesco to that role and said, this is the situation. Your job is to put them back down and make sure they don't get out of the cemetery. But we never see the conversation, so we don't know who hired him to this task. He answered a job ad in a newspaper, but the job ad didn't tell him what he was going to be doing. He only learned it after he took the job. So who hired him? If it was the mayor, then that means the mayor already knew. But so, we don't have any answers there.
And
Trying to keep it hush-hush.
And they keep calling him the engineer. Oh, sorry.
And they don't explain that. Other than that might just be his position title in the cemetery.
One thing that kind of confused me was the fact, going back to the mayor and his daughter, when the wreck happened, a vehicle ran over her head exploding it.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yet
It got
Where
better.
you're
they were
going with this.
able to fully piece it together with very, 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 extremely, very minimal scarring, and she still rises.
And talks.
Yeah.
She can sing too and eat,
Mhm.
apparently.
Yeah. Just as a head, how's the air going through?
Yeah.
How is
You know,
she
that's-
talking?
It just
Why don't
dumbfounds
you
me
eat
how well they
spaghetti?
Well, hold
rebuilt
on
her
here.
head from a puddle of mush.
Yeah.
Didn't we go back to it's an Italian movie?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Well-
I know, but still.
First of all, I want to point out the name of the cemetery was Resurrectress,
Mm-hmm.
which
Oh,
is
that
for
ain't-
those who will rise again. So
It's like Pet Cemetery.
you should have known just by the name. They're going to rise again. I
Mhm.
thought that was just poetry or symbolism, but no.
Well, the thing is Francisco does say that it happens after they've been buried for 7 days that they'll rise up, but now they seem to be rising with more frequency, not waiting the requisite 7 days. They're just starting to pop up now.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a running theory of his that has to be disproven scientifically.
It's like maybe that's the problem, is the issue's getting worse, which is the reason why he needs to talk to the mayor.
Hmm.
And I loved how when he first romances the widow in that form, well, look
Mhm.
how she in the widow form, he's telling her how he had this degree and everything, and but this was the only job he could have. And then after she dies, he's like, I feel so bad. I lied to you. I dropped out of school. I've only ever read 2 books in my life, and one of those I didn't even finish, and the other one,
A phone book.
it's a phone book.
It's his favorite book.
And they're burning the phone books at one point. Just because we got a new one doesn't mean we have to get rid of the old ones. These are classics.
Right. I was so confused on that too.
So some
Why
of that
are you
is-
hung up?
Yeah,
No,
I
okay.
think that's might be an Italian versus American. Why maybe a lot of us, or if we aren't familiar with that style, maybe a lot of Americans find this as like, what the fuck is going on? This
Okay.
is ridiculous.
First of all, Dell, fire up that the more you know emblem, because I'm about to drop some knowledge on our younger viewers. A phone book was what we old people used. It was a printed out form that had phone numbers. It's called phone numbers of people in the area we can look up and call on our phones.
Well,
There you go.
are you going to break it down between the yellow pages and the white pages?
Oh, that would
You think that's too much?
that would be too much information for them to process.
That would hurt
Okay.
their fragile little minds.
I know,
Oh,
right?
yes. They're going to need, mineral water and maybe a salad. I don't know.
And a lot
But,
of therapy.
They need a safe place.
Dial.
They need
Yeah.
a safe place.
Ooh, rotary dial. Ooh,
Oh,
anyway.
Back on track though.
back on the tracks.
They can't even stand flip phone.
We love you,
This
folks. We aren't being dicks.
this movie had the amazing ability to make me go, "What?" And then as it progressed, it made me go, "What?"
Huh?
Even more.
I went from what to Hana. What?
So at one point, one of the women he keeps falling in love with, the same one but different people. I know. She had a phobia about being penetrated, so he goes and wants his wang cut off, but the doctor couldn't do it, so he just gets, I guess, saltpeter is what they use to produce impotence for a temporary time. So he gets that done, and then she goes and goes, "Oh, I was raped by my boss, and now I no longer have the phobia, and I'm going to go marry him now. Bye."
Hey, Robert.
Let's go.
Hi.
Nice to
Wow.
see you back.
All the way from Scotland.
We like Scotland.
Did I just
Yeah, we
kill
did.
the?
No. Yeah. No.
No, no.
I actually thought he was doing chemical castration. Saltpeter would have made a hell of a lot more sense.
Because the doctor says this is only temporary,
Okay.
Monthly.
Yeah.
but the look and the size of the needle, no.
Mhm.
There was a lot of screaming, And initially, he was going to do the castration, but he's like, I don't want any anesthesia. And I'm like, you dummy. Oh, my God. I wouldn't want to watch.
Or he just drops his pants and, right there in front of the doc in the office and everything. It's like, oh,
Behold my ass.
Yeah, pretty much. Not killed anything. What time is it in Scotland right now? Aren't you like 5 or 6 hours ahead? Wouldn't it be like 4 in the morning?
6 hours, I believe.
Wow. That is dedication, people.
Unless it's hunting. Oh. Okay.
Unless it's hunting.
Oh,
Well,
sure.
this movie involved a lot of killing, but most of them were already dead. So
Does it really
Yeah.
it
count?
was re-killing.
Yeah. I should
Kind
point out when they burned the phone book, the ashes of the phone book started fluttering and flung around, and then you see the statue of the angel of death
Mm-hmm.
who starts talking to him. Oh my.
237. All right.
We appreciate you being here.
But anyway, he has a talk with the angel of death. And the angel of death is not pleased with him killing the dead. Irony. So he suggests you go kill the living.
And he does.
Yeah.
And he gets away with it scot-free.
So the question is he doing it in his sleep?
You know, that was some of the things. We were discussing just before the show some of the continuity and things like these zombies do bite,
Mhm.
and there is a scene where he is bitten. Quite huge gouge chunk of him is removed, and then like a scene or two after that, he's on the phone with Franco, his buddy, with no issues at all, like holding his head on the phone and stuff and walking around. You see him again without his shirt on and there's nothing there.
Right.
But then later on, we go back and he has this bloody bandage and stuff in place. And there's a thing with Franco.
Uh-huh. That's what I was getting ready to bring up.
Yeah.
Is when we find out, the person that he's been on the phone with this whole time, Franco, is in a hospital bed in a coma, and it looks just like him.
Well, not exactly like him, but
No.
similar. But he goes in and he's talking to Franco a lot, and he's just like, sometimes I go in to visit him just to make sure he's real, because sometimes I think I make him up. And he's talked to him a lot, and yeah. And so he talks to Franco and falls asleep in the dream sequence. But, maybe it really happened. We don't know. But you're clear. Just get ready to dig some more graves, because the inspector is the dumbest inspector ever. Oh,
Yeah.
you mean she died here with it? Couldn't have been you. Oh, you're running around with a gun in a hospital where people just got shot. Couldn't have been you. But, yeah, towards the
Glad
end
to
we
see you
realize-
got the gun.
And
You can
the thing
defend
is-
yourself.
Is that somebody sent in the M3 form or the W3 form, whichever it was, to the new mayor, citing that there are people rising from the dead in the hospital, and he assumes Franco must have done it because Franco is the one who had originally done it, or who had originally suggested giving him the form when he sees him and the one time that he goes to visit him. And yeah, and wasn't he calling the skull that he keeps trying to rebuild Franco?
I think that was
didn't
more of a
get that.
puzzle.
The gravedigger's the last line of defense.
He was. I
The
mean,
engineer.
Well, no, you got Nagi sitting there like sharpening his spades towards the end. He was like, "I'm gonna get this done," because
He's like, I'm not going to turn. And he's like, I'm joking.
Yeah, Nagi
Mhm.
didn't give a fuck about anything, because even when like the dead is attacking and he's just sitting there watching TV, eating that big heap of spaghetti, and everything's going to shit, and he's just like,
Yeah.
whatever.
Uh-huh. Well, okay, so going back to the mayor's daughter.
she wasn't a kid. She was a kid for their age. She was 18.
Yes.
So, yeah.
The one
she
that
was-
Nagi fell in love with.
Mm-hmm.
And he
Like
showed his
Bimbo.
love because he got really so nervous that he vomited. And I remember junior high dances. I was right there with him. Well, you want to dance with Burp? Oh, sorry. But
Well, he still got a little head in the end, so he was good.
yeah, I was waiting for somebody to do that. I wasn't going to go there, but congratulations, Ron.
All right, somebody had to say it.
But yeah, he digs her up and takes her head, and they're both talking, and she's like, I kind of like you. If you want to kiss me, I'm not in a position to say no, but I don't think I want to say no anyway.
Oh,
If she
God.
had. But then he walks off, and she starts following him somehow. Just the head, just kind of
Veil
Just
behind
like
her.
those little neck tendrils moving like flagellum
Yeah.
on moving her along.
So
And
what
that
was
was
she
around-
doing? Swallowing air to propel herself or what?
I think she's just using her neck skin. She was very.
she was
Well, we saw later she could fly.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's up with that?
Okay. This kind of goes into my ending theory, which we're getting to. However, there's still a lot to unpack here. Yeah, so at one point, Nagi's television is shot because rather hilarious scene where he has his headphones on and he's eating, and there are zombies. The zombies of the Boy Scouts are invading the house, and the cemetery man is shooting them all, and he's just oblivious. He even like shoves one off that was killed and fell on top of him. Just keeps eating, watching the television, oblivious to everything until the television is shot. And it was heart-wrenching.
They were all out scouting in their marble tombs, and he lost his television because of it.
Yes.
But it provided the perfect place for his
Oh, yeah.
head.
Yes. The head girlfriend, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
The head cheese. Who, yeah, when the mayor showed up, walked into the room, and he's like, "What's that smell?" It's me. I'm rotting very quickly. Can I marry this guy?
You are now part of the. We
Teamwork's
love
like
you.
Terry Pratchett.
Yes.
You are now part of the Owlite extended family because, yes, Terry. Good news, Sir Terry.
So, anyway, holy cow! There's, as you can tell, it crammed a lot in about 2 hours in this movie. And
Oh, yeah.
the ending. Let's go ahead and talk about the ending.
So,
yeah, he goes to visit his friend in the hospital. And he's sitting there. Nun comes in, chides him for smoking in the hospital. He just shoots her. Doctor comes in, goes, "What is the nun doing on the floor?" "Oh, she's praying." "Okay." And then he gets shot. And then a third person comes in and gets shot. Just, boom, boom, boom. And he's just all nonchalant, talking to his friend. Yes.
Oh, the reason that he went in to go see his friend, though, we need to let people know, is because the night before that he ran into the third or fourth iteration of she, and she was a prostitute this time.
Okay, yeah.
Like, fuck you for trying to charge me for love, burned her and her roommates to death, and then when the inspector came to speak with him, he said,
You're off the hook.
these people died, but we already got the person who did it. They went home and shot their wife and daughter, then drank a bunch of stuff and went into drank a bottle of peroxide or something, and it got admitted to the thing, and they admitted to their crimes. And so he was like, "You stole my crimes. I'm coming to find out why you stole my crimes." So that was kind of the thing.
Which kind of leads to me wondering, was this cemetery man character, was he like the Tyler Durden of the entire thing? From
That's
his
a
point
good
of
question.
Yeah, so there's a couple little hints. Like they end up deciding that they're driving away. So he and Nagi go hop into his little Volkswagen Bug and drive off, and it's like at the end of the tunnel. And I was waiting for Carpenter's help me out here, Sutter Kane.
Okay.
In the Mouth of Madness.
Yeah.
I was waiting for the tunnel to turn them back around so that they had to come back in, like they could never leave.
Yeah.
But instead, he has to slam on his brake, and they're at the end of the world. They
Yeah,
can't
there's nothing
drive anywhere.
beyond.
besides mountains and a river. But
If you like a machete, this is
yeah, a machete.
Sorry. So machete was like, I had to pull up machete.
Okay,
But
but yeah, it's he. It looks like Nagi may have died, but he doesn't. And then while they're sitting there, Nagi says something more than just nag. Like,
Can you
right,
take me home?
can you take me home? And then he goes, nah. And then end of movie.
Yeah.
And it looks like everything's in a snow globe because they're sitting in a snow globe now.
and it's randomly snowing.
Which leads me to my ultimate theory. You look like you have a question there, Pyle.
Are we going to talk about the old woman that makes such a drastic decrease in her life in the 3 times that we see her and then she dies? She went from a cane to having stilts on both arms to a giant walker, and then the next time they bring her up, she's got on her tombstone the 2 pictures that she said, which one do you like better? And he says, do them both. And she goes, I like that. Like, she decreased every time you see her so bad.
I did not notice that. I knew
I
she
didn't
was
either.
walking impaired.
I know who you're talking about, though. The old lady that always
Yeah.
was going in to visit somebody,
Yeah.
and she's like, nobody showed
she
up
went-
today, and all of
She
that.
went from a walking cane to no one showed up today. She was a cripple. And then the last time you see her, she's in a giant walker. And then next time when he wakes up, his assistant is already buried her. Well, who is this? And he sees the tombstone and he goes, ah.
Yeah, interesting. I didn't notice that.
Well,
Robert,
that
we're
all.
watching Cemetery Man.
Well, the thing is, that could be contributed to the fact that when they did this movie, they didn't really do day transitions that well. So
No.
the 7 days before each group was raising has passed, and they were raising on that 7th night. It just didn't. It just seemed like it was one or
the
2 days
transition of
later.
time was
Oh.
poorly handled. But I still think that she felt. I mean, it all had to have happened within a year, and to go less than a year is in one season.
It's like
So you're saying a lot of time was passing very quickly. We just didn't notice it.
Yes.
It was
For us,
definitely
it seemed like,
fall.
days or, or maybe hours or, next night, when in reality, it could have been over the course of a couple of months.
Yes.
Well, it was fall because there was a scene where, Nagi was raking the leaves, and it was said that he really loved the leaves.
Yeah.
For some reason. But okay, here's my theory. Here's my grand theory that ties everything together, will make everything make much more sense.
I highly doubt it, but go for it anyway.
There used to be a TV show called Saint Elsewhere.
Yes.
When that TV show ended, the last scene used was they pulled out and Saint Elsewhere was inside of a snow globe being held by an autistic child. So the entire, how many seasons of that show went on inside the kid's head while staring at the snow globe. Thus, this ending in a snow globe, this was just a different snow globe of that kid, and the entire thing was just in his head.
Yes. But what are you asking what is called, Robert?
Yeah, the movie was called Cemetery Man, and it was from 1994.
Yeah.
We never got that over
okay.
here.
Okay. I don't know I don't know where to tell you how to find it.
Well, it could be under the Italian name, DELLAMORTE DELLAMORE.
Yeah, and that was the other interesting thing. Here, let's put that up real quick.
Originally a novel written in 1983.
Maybe the novel makes more sense.
No.
You read it?
Yeah.
Hold on, I will put the original title in. Here we go. That should be going out to everywhere, so I'm not sure where people are looking at it. But Dellamorte Dellamore, because that was his mother's name was Dellamore, so it's of love, and his last name from his father was Dellamorte, which is of death. So the love of death, or the death of love.
That is so goth.
I'm not sure, but
Word.
yeah. The thing with the phone books, though, also when we jump back, when it goes up to he not only reads the phone book, but every time somebody dies, he crosses their name out slowly in the phone book. And so I think that part of when they burn the phone book and it turns into the statue of death, if we're going Italian here, all right, but is that the all of the people who have died that he's crossed off are like making the death that he has, like, eventually, like, these are the ones who've been killed twice, you know? So that's what is making up that. I'm not positive. It was just a thought. But it could have been the reason that death popped up out of there.
Anyway, yeah.
Okay.
This movie this is one of those movies where we can sit around for hours drinking coffee and discussing and still have like days and days of this could go on for hours, people.
Yeah, I was really hoping that you might have done some research to find out from the filmmaker's point of view what the hell was actually going on with this movie, but I don't know if that's it.
Yeah, I tried. I haven't gone so far as going on to YouTube and finding other people discussing this, but yeah, it's you have. And what did you find?
I found multiple videos. I just haven't exactly got around to watching them. But I can find other reviews. I just wanted to have our review show first and then watch theirs.
Right, fair enough. But this now I have seen mind-blowing, some would say artsy foreign films before. This wasn't my first tractor pull. However, as far as movies go that we normally talk about here, I wouldn't say this is a terrible film. This is a very good film. I guess a lot of people think it's terrible because they were expecting more of your standard mainstream, shut off your brain and, eat your popcorn and be entertained with the story, which is fine. I love those too. Except this one was shot great. It had a lot of great cinematography, as I mentioned before. It's very, very gothic in its execution, and the zombie, like I said, the zombie effects, the makeup, outstanding. Yeah.
Speaking of effects, looking at the trivia real quick, the ossuary that was used was actually a real ossuary.
Nice.
Supposedly one of the crew members removed some of the bones from it during filming, but quickly replaced them the next day, claiming to have encountered an angry ghost following the removal of the bones.
Oh, I'd be kind of pissed too. So
that's kind of a
ghost had a bone to pick with him.
Oh, Ron, what would we do without you?
Continue the show.
Okay. Probably, I don't know. It would be much less of a show, actually. But
wouldn't be as punny.
It's amazing if you have reanimation Italian movie. Yeah.
Just have to check it out. Thank you.
Yeah. But I would say this is not a terrible movie. But be warned, you're going to have to pay attention. And there's going to be so many questions that will pop up in your head.
That you'll get no answers to.
Embrace them. Embrace them. It'll make you think.
Embrace the suck.
As many as many spoilers as we've given, we haven't really given you spoilers because there's still everything, and it
So
is
much more.
you're going to be
Yeah.
figuring out its own, like, your decision on why did this happen, why did that happen. The director said that the people were rising from the grave based on the mandragola roots in the cemetery, but Ron, what did you do? Yes,
I
you
do
are
a
now
lot of
really
things.
officially part of the owl.
I do a lot of things. Can you be more specific?
What did you do, Ron? So, James,
Now, I have the 5-star reviews. Now, to give you an idea of what kind of a cult classic this thing is, this is the entire thing is like 101 reviews,
Woof.
and 73% of those are 5-star.
Hmm.
There's only 3% that were 1-star, but I will just give a couple.
okay.
First one is by John Lindsay, an overlooked Italian horror gem, finally on our R1 DVD. Francesco Dellamorte is not just your average cemetery worker. He kills the walking undead at night as they try to escape the cemetery so that they can feed off the flesh of the living. That's strange, dark, and funny Italian, French, German horror comedy in the tradition of H.P. Lovecraft, Lucio Fulci, and George A. Romero, based on an Italian horror comic called Dylan Dog. This movie is one of the 90s best horror flicks and one of Italy's best of the genre, along with some of the likes of Dario Argento's and Lucio Fulci's works for its rare diamond in the rough among the fans of horror with nudity. There is nudity, oh boy. The lovely Miss Falchi in 3 roles, dark humor, and gore abound with a strange ending. Now, scrolling down. Humor, horror, sexy, funny, unique, and well cast. This dark and whimsical film, will always hold a special place in my heart. It inspired me to go to mortuary school, and I would still really love to work in a cemetery. For the time being, I'll enjoy visiting relatives at the cemetery around town. There you go. Rhonda, 5 stars. Good. I love it.
I see that one.
Important to the point.
Good job,
To the
Rhonda.
point, yes. And last one I'm going to read, awesome slasher comedy film. I saw this movie. I guess. I saw this movie when I was in high school on the Bravo channel back when I used to play movies, when it used to play movies and not really TV. It's taken me a little over 15 years to track down an actual copy of this movie that you can play in America. I am satisfied with my purchase. Great movie.
I would like to point out in the first one that you were talking about with there is, in 2009, the horror website A Shot in the Head chose Anna Falchi's boobs from her nude scenes in this film as number 1 on their list of top 10 boobs in horror movies.
I'm okay with that.
They were
quite
interesting.
nice.
That was like,
That's fair. That's a fair review.
Yeah.
so 2009, so that puts a lot of things in between, and she was number 1 on this list. So
Since we showed the warning at the beginning, I'm just going to say that those were some rather large areolas.
they were. Robert, we can try to work on that in the future, but right now we're actually getting to the wrap up. Once we do the thing, we're going to do our votes for it and spin for the next movie. But definitely we'll talk to you after it's done if you want to stick around for a short bit.
Yeah.
I don't know which site you're posting from on Facebook, but we will track you down and I'll chat with you in a bit about that.
Awesome. Always love meeting new people.
Yes.
So,
People.
yeah, this is now the portion where we give our rating and whether or not we would recommend this. So, starting with the Delphine on over here.
I'm going to go with like a 9.5 out of 10. I really enjoyed this, and I would recommend it to other people to watch as a good serious horror film, as well as having the I've warned them there's a bit of absurdism involved. Um, but I really, this is one of the ones that I could watch again and again. I think the mentioning of the Dylan dog thing really made it click with me a little bit more. So before that, it was a little lower, but it went like, oh, okay, I see where they're coming from there, and that adds to it for me.
Yeah, it's definitely a better Dylan Dog movie than the actual Dylan Dog movie that came out. But yeah, Pyle, what does your toilet paper roll say?
7 out of 10.
Okay.
7 out of 10.
Yep. It's not bad to watch it. It's just I put a lot of thought into the movies, and it hurt. It hurt really bad. And I can't eat spaghetti with sauce,
Mm.
and it hurt there too.
That was a
Did you
big
not
ass
think-
plate of spaghetti he was eating, and the loaf of bread and everything. I was like, damn.
Oh, dude, I was watching it going, I want spaghetti, but I can't have it because of a circumstance. So
Reason.
here he is every single time there's spaghetti. I'm like, I hate you so bad.
Would you recommend it to other people though?
Absolutely, but I'm not going to tell them, and I'm going to tell them there's a whole thought process behind this, and they're going to go and say, what the hell was the thought process? I don't know either.
Today we test our friendship.
Yeah, right.
But
Ever allowed to pick
It's the first
movies
date
to
kind
get-
of movie. If she can get past this one, then yeah, you can. She's a keeper.
I am not apologizing for what you just watched. I want to see what you thought of it. And if your brain hurt, you're in the same boat. We can be friends.
I want a divorce. But Friday and Chaos.
Do you want a divorce?
No,
Okay. Good.
Oh,
So,
Okay, good night, everybody.
Good with the
All right.
Terrible has not hurt our marriage. So what's your
Yet.
rating?
Nope.
probably about 8.5.
Would you recommend it?
Okay.
Yeah,
because it got boobs.
oddly no.
Well,
There's,
Oh,
there's better ways
Nice
to
ass.
watch
It was right there. I could see it.
on a big
Um,
70-inch TV.
Yeah.
I'd give it. Which way am I need to go? I need to go this way. I'd give it a 10.
Wow.
All right.
Okay.
It's one of my favorites. Has been for a while. I recommended it to be on the shows because whenever I was younger, a lot of adults told me it was a terrible movie, and I'm like, I don't see why, but okay, if you say so. So I went by that.
One hurt too.
But I do recommend it. I have recommended it. That's why
Yeah.
we're doing this.
Oh yes. All right, Ron, sweetie.
I am going to agree with Pyle on this one and give it a 7 out of 10. And my explanation for that is precisely for the reason that you said, James, because I do feel like it was very well shot. It had great makeup effects. It had pretty good special effects overall. I do like cerebral kind of movies that make you think, and this was definitely one of them. I just feel like it kind of missed the mark because there wasn't any logic to it. So some people could give it a 7 out of 10 because it was a cerebral movie that made you think that didn't really have any logic to it. And some people would give it a 7 out of 10 because that's a bad thing. They really wanted something more. So either way, I feel like a 7 out of 10 is kind of appropriate for it. Would I recommend it? I would say that depends. It would depend on the person, whether or not I know if they like these cerebral kind of movies that make you think that don't really have any kind of point to them. if they like those kind of things and existentialism, then yeah, I would recommend it. But if they want their movies to be straightforward and linear and have a plot and have a reason and have a definitive ending, then no, I probably would not recommend it to them.
Hey, Ron, would you try it without sauce and then with sauce?
Yes. This one I felt like was without sauce. Now I want to see it with the sauce and if it makes any more sense.
Would you try it with cock sauce?
Oh no, that
I think that Francisco already did that himself, so there's no reason for me to do that.
It was a callback, people, from yesterday's show. So,
you went on yesterday. You missed something.
boy, howdy.
Oh my gosh.
But anyway, I am myself.
Let it grow. Let us know.
I am going to give it an
The horse is
8.5.
judging you.
Yes. I am giving this movie an 8.5. I can't pet horse. Oh.
I thought you were trying to smack it. Be gone, judging horse. Be
I shall
gone.
judge you.
Ah,
We've got the trifecta now. We've got all
Yes.
three of them.
it's happening again. But no, 8.5 here simply because I watched it this morning. Now, keep in mind, a lot of the movies that we go through, I can throw it on, do a little something on the side, and still, keep up with what the movie's doing. This one, I started it, and I couldn't stop watching it. I had my pad of paper being neglected of writing because as this unfolded, I was just transfixed somehow just to see what was going to happen next. And yes, it makes no sense. That, I think, was the point. There was a heavy dollop of absurdism in here, which I found rather good. When I figured that part out, and that happened early on, I could just go with the whole flow of the things. And like I said, I could we could talk about this for hours, just dissecting little minuets of everything that went on in this movie, especially that ending. I would definitely recommend it to friends that understand this kind of a movie, especially big fans of the giallo type horror movies from Italy, and a lot of French movies as well. I would also want to show this to certain other friends just to mess with them because I love them, and this is how I will mess with them. Maybe not a selection for the yearly birthday lament, but maybe a special weekend thing. I don't know. So anyway, that was our movie. Let's get to that wheel.
All right. Before we
One
spin the wheel-
question.
Yeah.
One question. What was the movie that we reviewed? And I want to say that it was Thanksgiving, where it had the one character that every time he's in scene, he's wearing a different T-shirt. What was that movie?
Oh, that was
Was that
Lamageddon.
Thanksgiving?
Lamageddon.
Lamageddon.
Yeah.
I feel like this movie, Cemetery Man, is that character. Every time you watch this movie, it's going to be like the movie is wearing a different T-shirt.
That's an interesting assessment.
Okay. You just made me start thinking about Lamageddon again, and that doesn't sit well with me whatsoever, sir. You were
You're
fired.
welcome.
You were fired.
All right, Robert, there's your answer. What did you do, Ron?
Sacrilege.
All right, Robert, we're tracking you down right now. We're hunting you. You're being
Oh, boy.
hunted. So yeah. Oh, it is now time to pull up the next movie. Is everyone ready?
Yes.
We've quit
Low
adding to it for a
morality.
little bit
Turn,
because
turn,
we have
turn.
to get rid of some of these that we have on here. So, Jenny, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready if you are.
All right, 3, 2, 1,
Ooh,
go!
Sleepaway Camp.
Come on, sweet sleepaway camp. Come on.
I've already seen Sleepaway Camp. I'll watch it again.
I'm getting dizzy.
Louisville Exorcism.
Hold on. I think it's
Oh no, Freaked.
Freaked.
Okay.
Okay, I have no idea what that one is.
It's about being freaked, I guess.
Apparently,
I don't know what that one is either.
All
Does
right.
anyone know?
It's on my sticky note going on my board. That way I remember
That is
to
a good
watch
question.
Freaked.
To the Googles.
Is it to be or not to be?
That's
That's a
what
good
I'm going to check
question.
first.
That is the question.
Freaked.
Okay.
1993 film.
Have
Oh,
you
this
seen
one.
it?
This one. Oh no. Oh.
Think
Ooh.
that's-
Ooh. Ooh. Oh my goodness. Guys,
Okay, tell us about it.
wear a cup. Wear a cup. Okay, so
It's going to be
on
a
here,
kick in the
Embattled Corporation Everything Except Shoes, or EES, hires celebrity Ricky Cogan, Alex Winter people,
Oh my God, I've seen this
Yep.
one.
to serve as its spokesperson amid the spate of reports that the company uses a toxic substance in the products it manufactures. Yeah, this, okay. Where to watch?
It's probably been a good 20 years since I've seen it.
I think this is on YouTube.
It is not to be. So,
Let me check.
but it does look like, yes, YouTube is a place where you
YouTube.
might be able to get it.
It was never released on
Get matched with
DVD.
a local tax expert and
Shush.
hand off your taxes with TurboTax Live Full Service.
Okay.
TurboTax would like to help you out.
This is not brought by TurboTax. Yep, the movie is on YouTube entirely.
Okay.
In
Or you
Okay.
can
HD,
buy
but
it for $80 on Amazon.
I do not recommend doing that whatsoever.
Yeah, I wouldn't
So-
think so either.
Okay.
And for those people who are not familiar, Alex Winter is Bill S. Preston, Esquire, in the Bill and Ted movies. And he
Or-
also played one of the vampires in The Lost Boys.
Yeah.
And Robert, we're going to check with you really quick. We think we have found you. You work at a bar. I don't want to
Or a
I don't
pub.
want to call you out or vet you really, but I mean your name's already up here and you're commenting on things. So if so, we will be getting in contact with you as soon as we end the show. Just checking.
Indeed.
You're still there. Or I suppose it would
Maybe
be a pub
He was
because
hunting. He was hunting while he was talking with us. Maybe he found his. He's in Scotland, so
so it's the middle of the night on the open road. I don't know why that song came into my head. I don't know.
Yes.
Okay, we shall
now
figure
that's
this
on my
out.
head.
You're welcome. I'm such
Okay.
a nice person. All right. Well, we are going to do our best at tracking down Robert, and you guys look forward to this. Let's go through and see what everybody's doing for the rest of the week. Oh, wait, look, I'm first. Sorry, I'm a little. Oh,
What she said.
yeah. So, hi, I'm Delphine on the Owlite Network. You can also find me at Carrie Kari Sanders over on Facebook. If you see this, that is me. I have my author page. I have all of my Owlite stuff. I have all of my stuff on the Dorkening Network because we're also part of the Dorkening Network. And the show that I do outside of Owlite on the Dorkening is Splash Pages. That's every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. And this week we have got DG Chichester coming back on. He just wrote the 4-issue series Daredevil Black Armor. And since it is the 60th anniversary of Daredevil this year, and a lot of big stuff is going out, we're going to be talking to him about that, as well as some more Daredevil stuff, and some more of his just non-big two, his own creations and things like that. So yeah, that's where you catch me. And if you want to try any of my other social medias besides my regular Facebook page, you'll be talking to Friday down there. But let's move on to Pile, I keep. Where'd you go? There you go.
Hi guys, I'm Pyle. You can find me here on the Light Network. You can
Locked
find me
in
on
the attic.
Facebook.
Oh.
You can find me on TikTok. This weekend or this Friday is not one of the Chainers Haunted Secrets. So catch me next Friday on Chainers Haunted Secrets, where we do a lot of investigating into the industry of haunts. We going down to Friday now?
Okay. Do you want to go first, Josh?
Find her.
Okay. You can find me here on the Owlights. You can find me on Fakor. You can find me on Friday with the Library in the Blue Box. You can find me on my author page, Jennifer Elliott. And I just wander around aimlessly in this realm of existence for the time being.
Okay. Ronnie Pooh.
You can find me here on the Owlight Network with all of these other clowns around here. And you can also find me on my author page on Facebook, Ronald W. Gillespie Jr. author, since I did just publish my first book with Fakor, and I'm already in the midst of working on the second one and the novel. Hard at work on those. A lot of work to be done, but I guess I can save that for an Owlight Society when we start talking about them. Other than that, outside of Owlight and writing, I am a professional martial artist. I've been doing that the majority of my life. I do a lot with the International Neoclassical Karate Kubudo Society, aka INKS, INKKS. You can find them on Facebook as well. I try to help out with seminars and all that kind of stuff. I teach, and I make content for TikTok. So you can find me on TikTok under Wolf Dojo. And if you're interested in that whole martial arts kind of bit, so yeah, writing, Owlight, martial arts. There you go. That's all I do. And
So don't
I
you do
work-
wolf with a U instead of
Wolf,
an O?
yeah, WULFDOJO, and I am Wolf Sensei, WULF Sensei.
Necro.
Hi, I'm Uncle Necro, and I am the host of this show, I guess. You can find me on the Owlight Network, and various other blogs and other podcasts that I do, all musically and all that kind of things. You know, brain droppings, all that fun stuff. I'm about to be published for the first time ever, so we'll see how harshly I'm going to be judged by my soon-to-be peers. So, till next time, this is your Uncle Necro saying, get some help.
Good night, everybody.
There is no help for us.
Trails to you.